Oh, I've had a journey.
You certainly
It's
have.
been a journey.
So I just want to welcome Mrs. Thompson and her family to Wake County Public Libraries. And I want to thank you so much, Mrs. Thompson, for giving us this opportunity. And I'm just, it is very important to the library system and very important to all of the people here that you've honored us by coming and allowing us to give you a library card. So thank you very much.
That's my joy.
And so Dr. West is going to say a few words and present you with some books about Wake County.
Oh, and I brought something about it so that I saw. My mother said, Mother, they will know that. I said, I'm not going to take a chance. Do you know, have you heard that in these United States, that Raleigh, North Carolina is a place where you come of all the states for jobs. I brought the article. Did you know it? Did you know about it? Had you seen it? Had you seen the article?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
So,
Because
but
I
it's
said,
good
I'm
to.
going to carry it in case you did.
All right. Well, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. West.
Good afternoon to each of you. It is truly an honor and a privilege for me to be here to represent the Wake County Board of Commissioners. Malcolm Gladwell, his book, The Tipping Point, said that small things tip big things. And often we don't think about a library card. We take it for granted.
Yes.
And I think it was the MasterCard commercial said that moments like this is priceless. And this is truly a kind of a priceless moment. We go from day to day dealing with the drudgeries and the things of life and things that really truly sometimes don't matter a whole lot. But when this was shared with me, it really touched my heart and really it motivated me and lifted my spirit to know that people like you, Ms. Thompson, who've been fighting a good fight, keeping the faith, and you finished the course today, I guess is another way to put that. But it really is so significant when you look at young people. I met with Deputy Manager Dave Ellis yesterday talking about youth at risk and looking at my brother's keepers and looking at some strategies to help underserved youth. And he said something to the effect that's been reverberating on my mind that many of our young black males today don't have a true definition of success. And actually what you started is a key to the definition of success, to thirst for learning, and hopefully that we can use this as a model, as an example to inspire folks, because you are truly inspiration, and you have also paved the way for hope and enlightenment for so many people. And right now we have I guess somewhat of a controversy about closing a library. But we're gonna figure out an answer to that. And it helped me to know that people love their libraries.
Yes.
And I know you love your library, because this was truly a long journey. But it's just kind of, I read back over the events and the things that happened. And I was riding over here and I thought about Rosa Parks.
Oh, yeah.
You know, she wouldn't get on the back of the bus.
We talked about it coming
and you know, we do things in truly different ways. But the key is that if we have the courage, if we have the heart, if we have the perseverance, God will take something that was not too good and He'll turn it into something positive.
That's
So this is
right,
truly
every day.
something positive and just fantastic.
But I can't take all the credit. Let me say this. It was truly during very difficult times, but Raleigh was fortunate enough during the time that I came along with a superintendent who felt that every child should have an opportunity to grow and develop and read and learn. And he is really, I give him all the credit because every opportunity that arose that he felt that I could address, I got the job. He saw to it. And one of the things that, one of my wishes was to hope that he was still alive so that I could meet him on my visit here. But my daughter went online and found out he passed last year.
That's right.
April, Jesse O. Sanders. He saw that all schools, not only the white school, black schools. And I remember that was something that I wanted for my children, some materials that I had read about, and I said, well, my children will have to have these. And I went to my principal, and my school had used up the budget for the year, and he felt that he couldn't ask for any more money. I said, I'll go ask. And I called and asked if I could have an audience with my superintendent. And I went to his office and I had a list of all the things that I wanted for my babies. I had a list. I got them. And I was telling my daughter, I said, I can see, coming to Washington High School, I can see this vision of this great big truck with blackboards and chalkboards and books and special writing paper and crayons. We were supposed to have those too. And I felt that if they were available to all. So I went up, and I've never forgotten it. And then when they were getting ready to implement, the legislature passed monies for special curricular activities, and the library was one of them. And we got a librarian, we got a band director, we got a strings musician. This is for all the schools. He did this. And my husband was one who got to be the first black strings director of music here in Raleigh Public Schools. And he was a graduate from Howard University. Reading teachers, they needed reading teachers because we have children who have special needs in reading. They can't always get it, you know. And he found out that we didn't have any, Shaw University didn't know about it, this new learning. But my superintendent had heard about it. And he came and took me out of my classroom, made reservations, put me on my first plane flight, never been on a plane in my life, and sent me to Temple University in Philadelphia to work with Bets, who taught with teaching children with reading difficulties and handicapped children. And then another opportunity arose. He knew about that. And he sent me to Chicago University to work under Gray, reading specialist there. And then brought me back here and took me out of the classroom as a permanent teacher and sent me to all the elementary schools. And I would go in, the teachers would recognize those who were handicapped and needed help. And they set up special area in every school, and the children were brought. And that's where I taught them. On the state room, the schools that didn't have space for me, put me on the stage, pulled the car. I remember one. And the News and Observer wrote it up.
Fantastic.
They did it, they wrote it all up. So I'm saying that I can't take all the credit, because I had somebody who knew about education of all children. And did you find out if any of his family was still here for me?
I'm still looking into it.
Are you still looking? Because I want to let them know what a wonderful, wonderful person he was. And I kept in touch with him for a long time, even after I went to Cincinnati. I'm not giving you a chance to ask a single question.
Mrs. Pearl Wortham Thompson, you have answered my number 3, my number 6, and my number 8. Stop.
And I attend a class in creative writing, and I'm learning to write. I write a lot of these things. And I'm gonna hurry up because I'm losing my hearing, I'm using my vision. And I told them I was going home. And I told them the story, and I brought that because they wrote it up in the
residence home.
Residence home.
They did?
So I brought that so you could share that. And they knew that I was coming.
Very excited.
They were amazed that I knew all about Chaucer and Beowulf and Queen Guinevere and Sir Lancelot. So you get that through. And then when I told them that my children knew all the songs from, what is it?
Paul Lawrence Dunbar. They didn't, when Melinda sings, is that what you?
Yeah, well, no. My babies, they knew every orchestral instrument in the symphony because I took them to the symphony, and I would take them to the library, and they knew every song in what's that musical that I love so? It'll come to me, I can't think of.
You love so many, Mom.
No, because they knew every, the
Which
one
music?
that,
Tell me the plot.
where they had to leave their home and go over.
Sound of Music.
Sound of Music.
Yeah.
They knew every word in the Sound of Music. And the other one was the one that they knew about the musical, all the instruments. What's that one?
They knew all.
No, the one where the characters take the musical parts and each instrument.
The Music Man?
No.
It was a Disney?
It's a Disney.
Yeah.
What?
The Disney film.
It was a Disney.
It'll come to me.
Well,
See, I'm losing a little bit now. I'm reaching that point.
well,
So-
why you still have the memories.
Now, if I burst out and say it, don't get
We'll just interview. It'll be on the interview.
We'll know it's there. We will know it's there.
Peter and
I told you I go.
Got it.
Peter and the Wolf, where all the instruments take.
Yeah, that's true.
And the symphony was just so beautiful that they was playing so my children got all of that. They just got everything that had to do with it. They got it.
And Miss Cox-Bailey
In the
is going to
meantime.
ask you some questions.
Okay.
And what do you want to
Just a
say to
few.
Miss Cox-Bailey? You said when you got down here, you wanted to say one thing to her. I am so. What do you want to do? Apologize?
Oh. We get so many, and you've gone through this, so many calls from people that you don't know. And you have to be very careful to whom you're talking to. And when she called and she asked for my name, she said, is this Mr. Pearl Thompson? Who wants to know?
Which Miss?
And I said, and who are you? must apologize because you just don't give your name and
Not to anyone.
And they have a habit with people who are older, you know, taking it back. And they say, and when she said, I understand you're coming to Raleigh. And I said, well, who told you? And then when she told my daughter, I had to get on my daughter.
Then she was angry at both of us.
She doesn't know what she's in for when she gets home.
But in the meantime, let's talk about Raleigh.
Raleigh.
And let's talk
Now,
about
I
your
love
being
Raleigh.
here
This
in
is my
Raleigh.
home.
Let's take it all the way down to East Lenore Street, your home
East
place.
Lenore, and the house is still there. They have built all around, but my house, and that's one of the wishes that I want to go by and see my home where I was reared and brought up in. And they say it's still standing there. So I want to see that.
Wonderful.
Yes, on West Lenore Street. I turn right around the corner and I come to South Street.
And who were your neighbors?
Oh, the Cooks,
Okay.
the Haywoods, the Haywoods, the Cooks are all, and went to the Baptist church right over here, on right off of what's it, Baptist?
Off of Wilmington?
No, Hargate.
Hargate Street. Oh, the First Baptist.
First Baptist Church, and that daughter Lillian Haywood was the organist. I know every principal that's taught at every school. I know them by name in every school that they were principal. And what else?
What else? Well, let's talk. When you first left Raleigh to go to school,
I
you went
didn't
to
even-
Shaw, and then
No, I went to no. When I was graduated from high school, and I graduated from it's called Woodstock Convention Center. We used to have your big graduation exercise
Memorial
at the end, the Memorial
auditorium.
Auditorium. All the school had that graduation exercise. So I was graduated. Then I went to Shore University, and I was telling my daughter that I never felt, we were poor, but I never felt poor, because we were always surrounded with so much love,
Yes, ma'am.
and that I really didn't even know what it was to be poor, because when my father passed, I was the oldest of 4 children. And my father was the first black to be the doorman at the Walter Raleigh Hotel.
Wow.
And that was your first hotel here. And he was a doorman. And he died. He and my mother fell in love young, and they couldn't marry in Wake County, so they went to Durham and got married. And to them were born these 4 children. I was the oldest and had 3 brothers. And my mother, she was in her early 20s when my father died, because he died at 27 with double pneumonia.
Goodness.
And my mother had to begin working to take care of us. And then you know the professional building used to be the medical professional building on Harvard Street. She got that job of running the first black woman to run operate the elevator. Didn't have those escalators. And she got a job there. And before that, do you remember the jeweler that used to be up on Fairview Street, the Levines? They had a jewelry store. My mother worked for them. And then she got that job. And I'm getting to the point that my tuition at Shaw University, during those times, she paid it on installment. Every week she would go and pay a little bit on my education. So that's why I have to value education, because I know how hard my mother had to work to see that, and all of us, my brothers, all finished high school, and 3 of us finished college, and my brother, oldest brother, became CEO at Eastman Kodak in Rochester, New York. So we've come
Amazing.
up. We struggled for every bit. He started at the very bottom, and then my middle brother worked for Stromberg Carlson. You ever heard of Stromberg Carlson in Rochester, New York? He worked there, and then then I loved teaching, so I became a teacher. But when I graduated from Shaw, every summer I went and took post, intersession, summer session, and post session. I went to whole session at New York University.
That's what I'd like to get to.
I went to New York University.
So did you stay in
that,
New York?
That was a challenge. That was quite a challenge because then I was usually the only black, and there were just all cultures from all over the world, and that's where I got the experience because I met people from everywhere, and I had this teacher that I took a course in anthropology. And she was dynamic. She was dynamic. Then I had another professor from Kentucky, from Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
He was white, and he was fantastic.
So
I've had good instructors all along the way. People who pushed, you know.
well, when you were
And-
trained, did you bring this training back to the teachers at Washington Elementary School?
I came back to Washington, and I came back to Washington School and taught here for 12 years.
And-
I started in first grade at Washington School, went all the way through, graduated. Then I taught 1 year away,
Okay.
and my mother, through the help of the doctors at this professional building, that's the reason I say I never felt that I was poor. Because I tell my daughter this, that I was the best dressed. I was the best dressed poor person you ever saw because the doctors were so pleased that my mother someone would get on the elevator and say, I need a doctor for this, or I need a doctor for my eyes, I need a doctor for my hearing. So my mother would direct them to a specific doctor. And the doctors hearing about it were grateful. And she never had to pay for any of our medical care because this was their payback to her for having sent other people too.
So your mom was a referral
Oh,
service.
my mother was something else. and then I got all your clothes, shoes. They clothed us, and I'm grateful for all of that. So that's the reason I had to say to you, I can't take all the credit because I had people who loved us, who cared for us, and wanted us to see that we got the advantages that would do us.
So what words of encouragement or advice would you offer young people today, those folks who have decidedly more advantages than we had coming up?
I try to say to young people who are facing difficulties and confused about what's going in their world, that they have a responsibility to help make the change.
There we go.
And you can't do it if you're gonna have the kind of disposition or personality that is not of love and concern. It's gotta be a love it. It's gotta, because you got to love that person who hates you so bad. And know that there has been a promise said to us that it's not going to last. That there's all out of darkness is going to come light. And you've got to believe that. Oh,
We do. We do. I think this is the perfect.
you've got to believe that regardless of how dark things might seem,
Yes.
there's always light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes.
But you've got to do your part.
Yes.
You can't sit around being angry or fighting back, because everything has to be done with love. It's
Yes.
got to be. That's the only way you can make it.
Amen.
Yeah, it's been such an
And
honor.
we've got to teach our children that they are somebody, and that God created them in His image.
Yes.
And if they're created in His image, everything that He made is good.
Yes.
Good. And so, this is what I try to say to them. It's not going to be easy. He didn't promise that it was going to be easy. There's a struggle. There's a struggle. But there's His promise. There's light at the end of the tunnel.
Sandy?
And that's
Thank
what you
you.
got to believe.